Hello everyone, my name is Bria Burke. This semester, myself and my fellow teammates, Gloria, Molly, and Thomas, created a project focused on understanding the behavioral psychology behind energy consumption. We utilized surveys as an intervention to gain an understanding of baseline perceptions of energy consumption and to influence shifts in individuals' perceptions and climate actions. Ultimately, our goal was change individuals' behavior and increase the frequency of individuals' commitment towards environmentally sustainable actions. Our group developed our surveys using Qualtrics and Typeform. Our sample size of participants of the surveys was 30, with the Qualtrics survey being given to the randomized control group and Typeform being given to the randomized experimental group. Each survey consisted of 10 questions or less and was designed to take less than 15 minutes. Questions were developed based on the concept we learned in our course, Human Behavior and Energy Consumption, including priming, expected utility theory, and tokenism.
Many participants in the study are geographically based in Bloomington as Indiana University students, with a few outliers living outside of Monroe County. The specific demographic could have led to responses with consideration to their own region and age group rather than the entire United States population. A big limitation was the voluntary status of the survey. Participants were in charge of completing both parts after a 24-hour time period. Without adhering to this, data compiled would not have the same variables. Software uncertainties also served as limitations because as unknown there were embedding tools in Qualtrics, so we sought out a second software, Typeform, and ended up having to jump over unnecessary paywalls in order to continue gathering data.
Now we're going to talk about some of the key findings we found from our control data. So we asked people the question, is society on the path of becoming more sustainable? The top number 1 is the first survey for control. The bottom number 2 is the follow-up control survey. Most times, the majority of people said that yes, we are on the path to becoming more sustainable. We asked how people thought they could add value to their lives by reducing energy consumption, feeling better about the local and global environment, ranked really highly the first time, and the second time, investment payoffs were ranked actually a bit more highly, and those were the top 2. We asked if people were willing to join the communities in helping to solve unsustainable practices. They said yes. And from highest to lowest, they ranked plastic bags, personal car usage, agriculture, and deforestation as most prominent to them. And then we asked, can one individual make a difference? In both the first and the follow-up, people unanimously said yes, 100%. And the same thing happened for the final question we asked of, do you intend to change your behavior? 100% of people do intend to change their behavior.
Hi there, I'm going to be doing our Typeform data analysis. For our first hypothesis, we thought that increased exposure would correlate to less optimistic projected future climate ideals. This, in essence, worked. For our second hypothesis, we thought that we could use the survey to influence participants to use less energy by the end of the second survey, or at least increase their claimed desire to use less energy. This, in essence, worked as well. For our third hypothesis, we thought that showing a map of the county people live in or are close with and adding climate messaging could potentially increase the sense of community and climate action, as stated in tokenism. This did not work. Our fourth hypothesis was that adding quotes by prominent individual environmentalists, we thought more participants would consider one individual being able to make more of a difference. This, in essence, did not work. And lastly, we hoped our survey would influence individuals to consider changing their behavior, and 100% of survey respondents claimed they would.
Overall, the strategy proved to be successful. Our goal was to use psychological strategies on specific questions about energy consumption and environmental awareness. 100% of the participants from both Qualtrics and Typeform surveys responded positively with the promise of planning to decrease their current energy consumption.
Research we have done leads to interesting results in several areas of interest to this field. We have found that college students have high environmental awareness and knowledge. We've also found that surveys whose participants are mostly college students tend to have low response rates. So we recommend for future studies, including incentives to encourage participation. Using only one method of survey delivery inspired lower results. So we would also recommend adding QR codes or posting on social media sites rather than only using email delivery. Finally, we found that using visual media sources in the survey may make participants more likely to adopt the perspectives of media messages. Ultimately, our group believes that surveys are best used as supplement to studies, rather than relying on them alone to influence absolute behavior changes in individuals. But utilizing surveys proved to be effective in collecting data.